Are we live, folks? Hello, everyone. This is Attorney Gehi from New York and Akika Gogoi from our Bombay office. And today, I hope you have joined. If there's someone waiting from your end to join, you can share the link. And in the next 2 minutes, we are going to begin a very interesting session for Indian companies. And the topic is, how can an Indian company start a branch office in the United States? It's going to be very interesting. And yes, this is a live session. So the good news for you is that if you have any questions, you can send it to a chat box, or there are ways for you to contact our administrators. And before I start, a big thank you to a few people who have been behind this. My big thanks to Akika Gogoi for joining us from the Bombay office. Then we have Sabreen Mattu. Then we have Priyanjali Goha Roy. And, plus the rest of the team, our technical experts who have made this possible. And the great news is that we are going to continue this every alternative week. So our next session, again, is going to be on a fortnight from now. That's going to be 2 weeks from now. So mark your calendars. And before the end of this session, you're going to get the exact dates and our next topic. So Akika, welcome. And since it's exactly 7:30 early morning in New York. And what's the time out there in India right now?
It's 5 o'clock right now.
All right. So let's get growing. There's a very good saying in America that when the great get going, so the going gets great. So start shooting, Akika. Let's go.
Welcome to our webinar, sir. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We look forward to an exciting and informative session. So I invite you to please take over.
All right. So thank you so much. And a little bit about myself and about Akika Gogoi. My name is Naresh M. Gehi, and I'm based in New York. I'm an attorney at law. And we have 3 practices in New York. And also we have an office in Mumbai. And Akika is in charge of the Mumbai office. And we mainly practice immigration law. Plus, we also basically do international business transactions for Indian companies. So today, a lot of questions have come to me in my New York office, and the questions pertain to that we happen to be an Indian company, and we don't know how we can start an office in America. So that's what is going to be the focus for today, and we'll be having some screens to show you and the type of companies and how we can do it. So anytime, whenever the team wants, and Akika can let me know if you want to display the slides, or you can stop me anytime, because I want this to be an extremely interactive session. I want this to be an extremely interactive session between the viewers and between us. And also the good news is that I speak in Hindi also. So in between, we'll also have some Hindi. Now, this is based upon public demand. So हम हिंदी में भी बात करेंगे ताकि लोगों को समझ में आए कि L1 वीजा क्या होता है और इसके बेनिफिट्स आपको किस तरह से मिल सकते हैं, और ये इंग्लिश में भी होगा और हिंदी में भी होगा, क्योंकि बहुत सारे ऐसे बिजनेस लोग हैं जो इंडिया में रहते हैं और उनको इंग्लिश में थोड़ी तकलीफ होती है, तो हम समझ सकते हैं कि आप चाहते हैं कि मैं हिंदी में भी बोलूं. So I'm going to kind of, go back and forth between Hindi and English so that everyone understands and we all get the best out of it. मतलब हिंदी में भी बोलूंगा, इंग्लिश में भी समझाऊंगा ताकि सबको समझ आए. So how about Akika, let's do the first part in English first, and then I'll switch to Hindi. What do you feel about that?
Sure, sir. Yeah, we can start in English
All right.
first.
So अगर आप हिंदी बोलते हैं तो नाराज ना होए, क्योंकि पहले हम इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे, फिर उसके बाद हम हिंदी में बोलेंगे. तो आपको खासतौर जो लोग दोनों लैंग्वेजेस जानते हैं उनको डबल बेनिफिट मिलेगा. तो अगर जब मैं आपसे मिलूंगा तो आपको मुझे खाना 2 बार खिलाना पड़ेगा, 1 बार नहीं, खासतौर अगर जब दोनों लैंग्वेजेस बोलते हैं तो. All right. So I'm an attorney and I'm based in New York, and we have a big practice, and we have more than 100 people working for Gehi and Associates and our office in Bombay is with me. Now, what is an L1 visa? ये L1 होता क्या है? L1 is a very important visa for a businessman. Now, if you're a very small businessman, don't even attend the session because you will not qualify. Lawyers will take your money. They'll tell you, yes, you can do wonders, and you'll be losing your money. Of course, under the law, the size of the company does not matter, but practicality matters. मतलब अगर ये आपकी छोटी कंपनी है, एकदम छोटी है, तो आप कोशिश भी ना करें, या अगर आपका ग्रोस इनकम बहुत जबरदस्त नहीं है और आपके टैक्सेस सही नहीं है, तो आप सोचे भी नहीं इसके बारे में. What I have done over the years, because I've done so many L1 visas, that I know exactly what immigration is looking for. And because I've handled many visas from India, so I know exactly what immigration looks for. So let's start with an example. And then after that, Akika is going to do some talking. And after that, feel free, if any slides are needed, Akika, feel free to jump into that.
Sure,
I
sir.
think the first question you might be having, Akika, for me is what is an L1 visa? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, L1 visa is a visa wherein exactly that allows you to kind of basically, especially I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, allows an Indian company, because I'm talking about the Indian company, to start a branch office in the United States, L1A especially, but L1 is meant for people who come in on an intra-company. Intra-company means they jump from one company to another, between two companies. That's generally the meaning of an L1, commonly referred to as the intra-company visa. Now, because we are discussing about starting a branch office, so I'm going to restrict myself to that. खासतौर आज मैं ब्रांच ऑफिस के बारे में बात कर रहा हूं, तो उसी पर मैं फोकस रखूंगा, नहीं तो लोगों को कंफ्यूजन होगा. You are living in India right now. You have around 40 or 50 people working for you. And now you are a proper company. All your employees are paid on the books. Remember the word on the books. You have a very good presence and you've been in business for a long time. Those are the cases that I like to take up. So take an example that you are in the IT business. You have a software consulting company in India. Or you have anything else to do with information technology. For example, you are into the web development business and you have these big clients from the US. Or you think that you really want to target the US and you want to start a branch office. That can be the IT business. It can be the import-export business. It can be the diamond business. It can be a manufacturing business. It can be any other legitimate business. You can be an automobile dealer who's basically dealing in metal scrap. Look at this. You can be into chemicals. It doesn't matter. So the good thing about the L1 visa is that it doesn't matter as far as the type of company is concerned. Now, what does immigration look at? Now, if you're an Indian company, now you want to start a branch office in America. Now, if you're sitting in India and if you're watching this, you'll be, oh my God, it's so difficult. Of course, it is difficult. That's why we have these two offices. The India office that deals with the Indian issues, and I deal with the American counterpart of it over here. So now you have decided that you're that ambitious person like Julius Caesar, who said, basically, I came, I saw, I conquered. Fantastic. And if you're someone who likes to kind of basically, take up challenges, and if you're ambitious, and if you're trying to cut the middleman, start thinking about the L1 visa. तो मैं हिंदी में भी थोड़ा बात करते रहूंगा ताकि लोगों को इसका पूरा फायदा मिले. अब आप इंडिया में बैठे हैं और आप सोच रहे हैं कि मैं अमेरिका में अपनी कंपनी कैसे शुरू करूं. तो पहली बात ये होती है कि इसमें दो लॉ फर्म्स इन्वॉल्व होती है. इंडियन लॉ फर्म जो है, जहां पर अकीका गोगोई बैठी हुई है बॉम्बे ऑफिस में, और अकीका आपको उसके बारे में बताएगी वो बॉम्बे में कहां पर है, और मैं न्यूयॉर्क में बैठा हूं. तो इंडिया ऑफिस पहले देखती है कि मतलब ये कंपनी काबिल है या नहीं है. उनकी जो है ड्यू डिलिजेंस की जाती है, और उसके बाद में ऐसे होता है कि ड्यू डिलिजेंस के बाद में कंपनीज को गाइडेंस दिया जाता है कि किस तरह से आप अपना L1 अमेरिका में हासिल कर सकते हैं। अब L1 वो होता है कि आप अमेरिका में आना चाहते हैं, अपनी ब्रांच ऑफिस आप खोलना चाहते हैं। यू आर कमिंग टू अमेरिका टू स्टार्ट अ ब्रांच ऑफिस। नाउ हु कैन कम एंड स्टार्ट अ ब्रांच ऑफिस? अ मैनेजर। मैनेजर कैन कम एंड स्टार्ट अ ब्रांच ऑफिस। मतलब कौन आ सकता है अमेरिका में अपनी ब्रांच ऑफिस शुरू करने के लिए? कंपनी का टॉप लेवल मैनेजर मैं कहूंगा। मैं जानबूझकर टॉप लेवल यूज कर रहा हूं। उसकी वजह यह है कि अगर आप बोलेंगे जो आपका मैनेजर नहीं है, आपका क्लर्क है, वो कंपनी में आकर चालू आप वहां पर शुरू करें, तो इमिग्रेशन नहीं मानेंगी, क्योंकि वो सीधा कहते हैं कि L1A की पहली रिक्वायरमेंट है कि जो आदमी आपकी तरफ से आ भी रहा है वो मैनेजर होना चाहिए। तो सिंपल एग्जांपल इज अ डायरेक्टर ऑफ द कंपनी। एंड लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल। एक डायरेक्टर होता है जो कंपनी का, वो आ सकता है। और किस तरह की कंपनीज को हमें पहले अप्रोच करना चाहिए? जिनके करीबन 40-50 एम्प्लॉयज है, उनके पास में अकाउंटेंट्स है, उनकी बोर्ड मीटिंग होती है, उस तरह की कंपनीज मैं लेता हूं। और डायमंड कंपनीज है और बड़ी कंपनीज है, मिड साइज कंपनीज है। 40-50 एम्प्लॉयज को मैं मिड साइज कहता हूं इंडिया में। और जैसे क्लियरिंग हाउसेस होते हैं, क्लियरिंग एजेंसीज होती हैं, क्लियरिंग हाउसेस, शिप सी फूड कंपनीज, शिपिंग कंपनीज। तो अब आपके बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स हमने देखे। ओके, वी बीन इन बिजनेस फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, हम काफी सालों से बिजनेस में हैं, हमारी बड़ी अच्छी वेबसाइट है, हमारा मार्केट में नाम है। आप अमेरिका जाओगे तो एक अच्छी बात यह होती है कि अपने आपके कंपनी में 4 चांद लग जाते हैं, क्योंकि लोग कहते हैं कि कंपनी के की ग्रोथ देखते हैं लोग। अब उसके बाद में क्या होता है दैट यू गेट इन टच विद द लॉयर। अब पहली बात तो ये होती है कि अमेरिका में ब्रांच ऑफिस खोलने के लिए, to open a branch office in the USA, the first requirement is that the company should have been in existence for more than 1 year. That should be easy. Secondly, there are two types of people I meet. Oh, Mr. Gehi, I have this small company. मेरी छोटी सी कंपनी है, मैं टैक्स रिटर्न बना लूंगा। नहीं आया आप हमारे पास में। इमिग्रेशन बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है, और गलत काम करना अच्छी बात नहीं होती है। एक बहुत ही अच्छा गाना मैंने सुना था, बुरे काम का बुरा नतीजा। तो बात यह बनती है कि गलत काम का नतीजा गलत होता है। इफ यू आर अ जेन्युइन कंपनी एंड इफ यू हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ एम्बिशन, consider the L1 visa. There are lawyers who will take up your case, but Mr. Gehi will not take up your case, because I try my best to win my cases, and I have a big name, and I generally don't take up cases when I feel that it's going to impact us. So Akika Gogoi can be contacted for that to do the due diligence if needed. Now, after that, what happens is that उसके बाद होते हैं आपकी कंपनी है, आपके लोग काम करते हैं। उसके बाद में कुछ लोग B2 वीजा पर आते हैं, और जिसकी मैं हमेशा जो करता हूं, तो पहले मैं B2 के लिए ट्राई करता हूं। B2 का मतलब होता है विजिटर्स वीजा। तो अकीका वहां से काम करती है, क्लाइंट से मिलती हैं, फिर B2 वीजा की शुरुआत होती है। और कभी कभी B2 वीजा मिलता है, कभी कभी डिनाई हो जाता है। तो खास तौर पहले उन लोगों को देखना चाहिए जो अमेरिका में आ चुके हैं। वो हमेशा फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी होती है मेरी, कि जिनके पास B2 वीजा है वो कांटेक्ट करते हैं। उनकी किसी मैनेजर के पास भी है तो भी अच्छी बात है, ओनर के पास नहीं है, मैनेजर के पास है तो भी चलेगा, तो कम से कम कंपनी शुरू हो जाती है। वो आते हैं न्यूयॉर्क में, हमसे आकर मिलते हैं, और उसके पहले हम पूरी तैयारी करते हैं। अकाउंटेंट से बातचीत होती है, और ब्रोकर से मिलाया जाता है कि बेसिकली मतलब ऑफ कोर्स आप डायरेक्टली डील करते हैं अकाउंटेंट्स और ब्रोकर से। you'll get a chance to meet brokers, then you meet, basically we do the entire 9 yards for you. We try to make it into a turnkey operation. और turnkey का मतलब होता है कि आपको पूरा जो है कि समझाया जाता है, और जो लोगों से आपको मिलना है आप डायरेक्टली उन लोगों से डील कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि हम लॉ की प्रैक्टिस बाकी प्रैक्टिस से अमेरिका में मिक्स नहीं करते हैं। आपको हेल्प की जाती है कि मतलब आपको अकाउंटेंट ये है, आप चूज कर सकते हैं, नहीं आपकी मर्जी है। और उसके अलावा ब्रोकर से मिलाया जाता है, और उसके बाद में आपकी ऑफिस शुरू होती है। डर उन लोगों को लगता है जिन्होंने अमेरिका से डील नहीं किया, मैं समझता हूं। इसलिए जो हमने देखा है इंडिया में डील करने से, कि लोग चाहते हैं कि उनका थोड़ा सा हाथ पकड़ के उनको हेल्प करवाई जाए, उतनी पूरी कोशिश होती है। वी ट्राई आवर बेस्ट टू हेल्प पीपल, बट रिमेंबर फ्रॉम योर एंड आपकी तरफ से एक मैनेजर को आपके कंपनी के लगातार हमारे साथ काम करना रहना जरूरी है, क्योंकि वो काम करेगा तो ही आपका काम होगा। आप सुस्ती करोगे तो अमेरिका में काम ना करे, क्योंकि ये बड़ी ही चुस्त कंट्री है, सुस्त नहीं है। तो उसके बाद रेडी हो गए आप, आपने बोला कि ओके, लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल अबाउट एन आईटी कंपनी. You're in business for more than 7 years. You have these great American clients, and they're giving you business. And you're into the diamond business. You want to open your office in Midtown Manhattan. That's where the market is. You're in the garment business. You want to come to Midtown Manhattan and open your business. You're in the transportation business. You want to come and open your office there. Great. So the good news is that you should be a high-up manager. And for a manager, generally I prefer, खासतौर में वो तरह का मैनेजर प्रेफर करता हूं जो आपके कंपनी में अगर जे बहुत ही पढ़ा लिखा है, मास्टर्स डिग्री होल्डर है. जनरल प्रेफरेंस वो होती है. मतलब इसका मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि अगर जे आपके पास एमबीए नहीं है तो आप क्वालिफाई नहीं करते हैं. तो आपके पास इयर्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस होना चाहिए और आप आपके फील्ड में आप वेल नोन होने चाहिए. जैसे मतलब आपकी एसोसिएशन होती है, लोगों को पता होना चाहिए आप काफी वेल नोन है और आपकी बड़ी बिजनेस है. अब इमिग्रेशन क्या देखती है उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. So, Akika, we're going to talk about what immigration looks at. Is that a good question?
Yes, Mr. Gehi, definitely.
Why do you want to know that?
Of course, immigration is important. Without knowing the importance of immigration and the visa type that we need, how can we actually start a company in the US?
Good. So those are the questions which you're going to get answers from. So if I come to India, am I going to get some good food in return for that over there? Other than I'm not going to talk any further. I'm a foodie, as you know.
Definitely, sir.
All right. So all the people who are viewing, remember, it's better make your good food if I'm ever in India, because I'm a foodie. Because if you want any questions properly answered, I love food next to me. So, all right. And plus, since the good news is that we have people from all over India watching us. So I can have different cuisines, right? From Jaipur to Mumbai to Kerala. So everyone is here. So the good thing is that I'll have the pleasure of eating good luncheons with each one of you if I'm in India next time. All right. So now you're sitting over there. आप बैठे हैं, आप बोले बस मुझे अमेरिका में कंपनी शुरू करनी है. पहले तो ये देखें कि आप अपने टैक्सेस सही तरह से भर रहे हैं. रूल नंबर 1. सेकेंडली, आपके एम्प्लॉय सही हैं. नंबर 2. थर्डली, आप अमेरिका से डील कर रहे हैं या आपके पास कोई ऐसा प्लान है कि आप अमेरिका में डील करना चाहते हैं. वो जो है कि 3 फैक्टर्स अब अपने ध्यान में रखें. Keep 3 factors in your mind. That's like, do I want to start a branch office in America? Secondly, do I have enough employees in America? Number 3 is, am I going to do trade with America? Am I really a manager? Am I going to grow the company in America? Most importantly. Now, when you come to America, right, initially, the consulate may give you a few years. They may give you around, Akika, sometimes they give you 1-year visa. And an L1A is valid for 7 years. That's the good thing about it, Akika. So an L1A is valid for 7 years. And the thing is now, what happens during that is that most people, recently, let me give a live example. So I'm going to give 3 different live examples about the L1A. One of them was a seafood company. And this person was basically a small company. He didn't have a lot of people working in the US, but his turnover was more than $3 million. So immigration said, wow, this guy has done $3 million in the US in the first 2 years. Brilliant. Dekho, he didn't have a lot of employees, but his gross income was so high and the amount of taxes he paid in America was so good that the government said, you know what? He's really a manager. So how they decide a manager, sometimes people think it's not about the number of employees, Akika. It is your talent. It is exactly how dynamic you are. That's the reality. When this is how they practically decide things. But generally, Akika, it's a good idea for people who come to America to hire employees. तो मतलब Akika, मैं आपको ये बता रहा हूं कि पहली बात तो ये होती है कि अगर जब आप L1A पर आते हैं तो इमिग्रेशन ये देखते हैं कि मैंने अभी आपको वीजा दिया, पहले स्टेप में आपकी बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट मीट हुई, बेसिक्स में आपकी इंडियन कंपनी है, आपके पास एम्प्लॉइज है, आपके पास प्लान है, ग्रोथ प्लान है कि आप अमेरिका से बिजनेस कर रहे हैं. यू आर हैविंग दैट प्लान विथ यू. And now, after that, you met with Akika to do the cross-checking whether I'm qualified and everything. And once if the qualification takes place, then either we apply for a B2 visa for the person. If that does not happen, there are other ways also through which we can give a power of attorney to one of the accountants who can do everything for you. Then you can still come on an L1A. Now, जिंदगी में कोई चीज की गारंटी नहीं होती. And खासतौर इंडिया में भी, I think in law also, I believe there's no guarantees. Correct? But I don't know why people have this bad habit. ये बुरी आदत है लोगों की बोलना कि क्या आप मुझे गारंटी दोगे. अगर जी आप किसी भी तरह की जिंदगी में गारंटी लेना किसी से, तो पहली बात तो आप बिजनेसमैन नहीं है, क्योंकि जिंदगी में किसी चीज की गारंटी नहीं होती है. अमेरिका में कहते हैं कि दो चीजों की गारंटी होती है, एक मौत और सेकंड टैक्सेस. You love that, right, Akika? That's an American saying.
Yes, sir.
Only two things are guaranteed in life, folks: death and taxes. Even your husband is not guaranteed. Your wife is not guaranteed ever. So forget that. How do you expect the lawyer to give a guarantee or a doctor to give a guarantee? And I've seen people fighting in India saying, I need my money back. Please don't come to us. Please don't come to us, because we only deal with the cream of the crop here. And we screen companies. We deal with mid-sized and big companies. If you're a mid-sized company, then you may have a chance because we want to do fairness with you. Now, you're at a point that you met the initial requirements. आपकी initial requirement meet हो गई. हमने देखा कंपनी अच्छी है और इनके टैक्स रिटर्न अच्छे हैं इंडिया में, और सही उसको ड्यू डिलिजेंस कहते हैं. वो हकीका मैम करती हैं बॉम्बे ऑफिस में. अब उसके बाद में जो थे कि we apply for the visit visa. We do the application for you with all the information, or we apply for the B1 visa or business visa, depending on the situation, and B1 or B2. अब apply करने के बाद में आप अमेरिका आते हैं. You visit our New York office. It's a slow process in the beginning. You come in, you're ready, we tell you A, B, C, D. It's very much preferable for you to have one relative over there or a friend. क्योंकि अगर ये आपका दोस्त है या आपके रिश्तेदार हैं, तो थोड़ा सा आपका सफर इजी हो जाता है, चाहे वो किसी भी स्टेट में हो, क्योंकि आजकल दुनिया जूम पर चल रही है और दुनिया जो है कि वेब पर जा चुकी है. तो उसके बाद में ये होता है कि आपकी कंपनी फॉर्म की जाती है यूएस में, जो यूएस की ऑफिस करती है आपकी. अकाउंटेंट से मिलवाया जाता है. वी इंट्रोड्यूस यू टू द अकाउंटेंट एंड वी डू द कंप्लीट, वी वर्क विथ यू फॉर द बिजनेस प्लान, एंड ओवर हियर वी नीड हेल्प फ्रॉम यू ऑन द बिजनेस प्लान. And then the business plan is ready. And then after that, the key factors are, then we want to see, Akika, whether this person is actually a manager, whether he'll be able to run the company, whether he will be able to do trade between both the countries. And other than that, we want to see that basically, he's coming with his family. That's a good thing about an L1A. Brilliant thing about L1A is that you can come with your wife, or you can come with your husband and your children under the age of 21. बढ़िया. मियाँ बीबी बच्चे समेत MBBS. आप अमेरिका में आ सकते हैं. MBBS, मियाँ बीबी बच्चे समेत, you're in America. And it's a great country. And you're here. Husband, wife, and your wonderful children. What a joy to come to America. That too to Manhattan. Oh my God, it's great. Now you're here, आप आ चुके हैं यहाँ पर, and after you come over here, now you have this plan of starting a company. Great news for you. So the good news is, आप एक बार आपका L1 अप्रूव हो जाता है, तो आपको L1 वीजा मिला, आप अपनी कंपनी रन करते हो. आपके वाइफ को या आपके हस्बैंड जो आपके डिपेंडेंट है, उनको वर्क परमिट डे 1 से मिल जाता है. और मैं अप्लाई कर लें, वर्क परमिट आ गया, बच्चे स्कूल में जा सकते हैं, मगर उनकी एज अंडर 21 होनी चाहिए. अब ये तो पहले मजे की बात है. ये दूसरी बात तो अब तक जानते ही नहीं हो. दूसरी अच्छी बात है कि अब कंपनी को सही तरह से रन करेंगे. If you're going to run your company properly, and the good news is after 2 years, people have applied for the green card directly. Within 3 to 3.5 years, you get a direct green card. So in India, especially all these people who are coming in and asking you to invest on an investor's visa, They will not talk to you much about the L1 visa. If they talk, they will not get your $1 million in your pocket, in their pocket. Akika, how do you like that?
Absolutely great, sir.
Na bibi hai, na bacha, na baap bada, na bhaiya, but the whole thing is that ke sabse bada rupaiya. So investors' visas, they'll only talk about the rupaiya, but they prefer not to talk about the L1 category. So the thing is that watch your dollars, watch your rupees before you consider this. And if you're a well-known businessman, and if you're an entrepreneur का मतलब होता है आप enterprising इंसान हो, and you can be around 28 years old. आपने app बनाया, and your app has become very famous in India. Why don't you start a company in America? America is calling you. But they're looking at the right people. They're not looking at people who violate the books. It can be a construction company. It can be any company. So that's the beauty of things. And what do I need from you? I need you to have good tax returns. I need to make sure that you have a business plan and you have a manager ready. And then after that, we do a due diligence. So India office does a due diligence first to make sure that the person qualifies. And if you don't have a corporation, the India office can also help you with the corporate part of it to set it up properly. It may take some time. That's a good thing. So that's the beauty of having this particular category, which is known as an L1A. So L visa has different categories. It's also known as L1B for specialized knowledge. We'll talk about that later on, but let's talk about L1s. Now you came to America and you're very happy, and you came on a visitor visa. अब visitor visa पे आए, अब क्या होगा? अब ये होगा कि आप जब लॉयर से मिलते हैं तो वो आपको कॉर्पोरेशन में हेल्प करेगा, आपसे बैठेगा, आपको पूरे डिटेल्स देगा. But if you are a manager, you should be ready with one other person working in India with you, who should be a very good secretary, who should be taking all your notes, understanding everything. So she should be well prepared to work with the US team. And take an example, if you're an IT company, and you're into software development, you're developing code and basically in Java, Spring, Hibernate, Boot, and at this stage on the back end, that's what you're doing. And you have all these great clients from America. It's easy for you because immigration knows there's a crying need of good IT companies. As far as you have projects from the US, come and start. And you'll do very well. Your spouse can come in. And if you show good taxes and everything, and you have all these big clients, you can become an approved vendor. Get it done. Get your green card out. And also, in 2 to 3 years, in 3 years, I think you should have your green card based upon the way things are going, which is fantastic. And Akika, there's one other good news about the L1 category. Ready for it?
Yes.
So what am I going to get? Am I going to get South Indian food if I answer the question, or North Indian food?
Whatever you wish for, sir.
All right. So let's see what, our audience should ask some questions of what kind of food am I going to get? Because as I told you, I'm a foodie. So let me take a pause. Do you have any questions so far? Sabrina, do you have any questions? Are you getting any questions from people here? All right, so I'm going to skip. All right. Okay, so can I have some questions here? Can a person's family join him in the US? Can the spouse work on the dependent visa? Yes. So, आप अगर जे L1 पर आते हो, your spouse can also work and your children can go to school in America who are under 21. And even they all can be qualified for the green card after 1 year when you've grown the company in America. So this is great news for people who actually want to come to America. So the other good news is, which I told you, is Akika, the good news is that a person does not have to go through the tedious labor certification process. So you can directly apply for the green card after 1 year, provided you've done well in the company. This is the beauty of the L1 visa. Do people in India have a lot of knowledge about this? They just know a little bit. And that little knowledge is the worst knowledge. Oh, mane khabar chahiye L1 શું થાય? मेरे को मालूम है क्या होता है. That's not what an L1 is. You need a seasoned lawyer to work with you, otherwise you'll always be over there. And folks, if you're a mid-sized company, learn to spend money if you want to grow. But you're going to hold the rupee, you're going to be worried about it. Don't do it. And the people who are successful in America, look at all these great IT companies. You know how they all came here? Akika, they went through the right lawyers. And look at how big they've become in this country. Look at all these seafood companies. Look at all these manufacturing companies. Look at the garment companies. Look at the chemical companies. Look at seafood companies. Because ultimately they said, you know what? I am dynamic. I know my business. I have clients in the US. I just need to let them know I'm starting over here in the US, and they get going. From Sudhir Kumar, can a person change his status from an L1A? Yes, Sudhir, you can change your status from an L1A. That is, of course, a possibility. Can the children join the L1A visa holder who is a manager? Yes, the children can join you if you're an L1A, provided they are under the age of 21. बच्चे जो 21 साल के नीचे हैं वो आपको definitely join कर सकते हैं, उसमें कोई problem नहीं है. Can a person's family join him in the US, and can the spouse work on the dependent visa? जी हाँ, आपके पति देव या आपकी पत्नी डेफिनेटली उनको वर्क परमिट मिल जाता है और वो आराम से अमेरिका में किसी भी कंपनी में काम कर सकती है. तो देखें कि L1A के कितने सारे बेनिफिट्स हैं. So some excellent questions were here, Akika. So do you have any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Sudhir wants to be live.
Okay,
He
let's
has
come
some
live.
questions. Yeah.
Yes, Sudhir, you can come live. Sabrina, is he coming live, or can he ask the question on the chat, whatever you want? Okay, in the chat. Okay. All right. So how can IT companies? Okay. So the question is from Sudhir Kumar. Can a person change his status from an L1A? The answer is yes. How can IT companies benefit by starting a branch office in the US? So IT companies can benefit because, as you're seeing, a lot of these companies are in New York and in New Jersey. Once if they start, for example, right now, if you're servicing a client, from India in the US, so if you're dealing with any of these big guys, like, any of these companies, what you need to let them know is that please give me your projects in the US. And once we get them in the US, continue the Indian company and get the development done over there. So there is trade between both the companies. And that's how you can kind of basically start your branch office. Plus, also what happens with IT companies, since I've dealt with a lot of IT companies, is they are able to reach the clients when they're in America. They go to all these IT conventions, they get to networking events, and that's how the business happens. It's a great opportunity because even if you're looking at statistics, anything you're doing in IT is going to grow. Diamond people are doing very well in America still. People in the government business, they find their way. They are doing very well. And doesn't matter where you are in the world. And you're watching this is a great opportunity for people. The next question from Sudhir is, can an L1A visa holder qualify for a green card? Yes, Sudhir, L1A वाला green card के लिए qualify कर सकता है. जी हाँ, अच्छी बात है, आसान है अगर जब सही बिजनेसमैन है तो. आप अमेरिका आए और आपने अपनी जो है कि कंपनी शुरू कर ली, और कंपनी शुरू करने के बाद your company is showing a profit. So if your company is showing a profit, then it's a great way for you to actually kind of, apply for a green card. That's a good thing. What is the difference between L1A and L1B? So L1A अलग होता है and L1B is different. L1B is for people of specialized knowledge. तो अगर आपको specialized knowledge है अपने field का, तो then you should be going for an L1B. So those are important things that people have to know. And we'll talk about that. We'll have a complete different session about the L1B visa, Akika. So Akika, tell me something. What are the basics of forming an Indian company under the Indian Companies Act? I think it's easy, right? Anyone can form a company.
Yes,
correct?
it is very easy. Yeah, basically you'll have to first choose a name and then you'll have to prepare your MO and all that, and then you have to register. Of course, it's better to again involve a lawyer
Of
who
course,
can review all the
do
documents
that
and
because I think what you need is an MOU, then you need the articles of association, then you need a
yes.
corporation, then you need to have basically 3 names given to you to see those names available. Then after that, you file it with the registrar of companies. And after that, exactly, the registrar gives you an authorization. And then after that, you begin your company. Am I correct on that?
Yes, Mr. Gehi.
All right, good. So जैसे आप देख रहे हैं कि मैंने आपको इंडियन कंपनीज एक्ट के बारे में भी बात की, because we deal with a lot of litigation also. खासतौर कुछ ऐसी कंपनीज होती है इंडिया में जिनको आर्बिट्रेशन की जरूरत पड़ती है, जिनको कभी कभी स्यू करना पड़ता है यहाँ पर अमेरिका में लोगों को. So we do those things also. We form agreements also, from the New York office for people who want to engage into trade with American companies, because sometimes it's not a good idea for a company to engage into trade until the due diligence is done from America. तो खासतौर जब बड़े बड़े डील्स होते हैं, जैसे एक्विजिशंस होते हैं, मर्जर्स होते हैं, जब अंडरस्टैंडिंग्स होती है, Indian office deals with those things also for us. So that's what exactly we'd like to talk about. And few other important perks is that an L1 person can also change his status, or L1 can also be converted into an investor's visa at times. And there are endless possibilities with the L1A and the L1B in this country. L1B requires a labor certification, but L1A does not require labor certification. Any questions so far from anyone, or do you want to present the slides now?
Sure, so we'll proceed ahead with the slides right now. Sabine, can you just...
Okay, so until she basically gets ready with the slides, she's faster than the speed of light. This is amazing. Sabrina, you're doing fantastic. Okay, local regulations before setting up branch office in the USA. So the answers for that, I believe they have to get in touch with the Bombay office where Akika Gogoi is located, who's an advocate in India. And, she's a very good advocate. And I think she's the person who can talk about the local regulations before starting up a branch office in the USA. But Akika, sometimes people have companies. So even if they have companies, they can just contact you. And then after that, exactly, it will be much easier. People have established companies because that really gives them kind of, the upper hand to come to America and start. So अगर आपकी already company है और आप business में, तो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है कि आधी battle तो आपने already जीत ली, अब बाकी आधी जो है कि वो आपको finish करनी पड़ेगी. Let's go to the next slide if there is, or you can, change that. Okay, this is very important. Now, choosing your location is very important. So, for example, if you're dealing with the garment district, right? If you're in the garment business, the best place is Manhattan, because the garment district is located in Manhattan. And secondly, if you're in the diamond business, Manhattan is the way to go. So, and that's where we are located. So, and if you're looking at IT companies, it's New York, and it's Texas, and it's New Jersey. These are great locations, for a lot of companies to look into the tech sector. And other than that, New York is expensive, but it's a lot of fun. And New Jersey is good. And then you're dealing with, Texas for IT companies, which is equally good. So there are many different places. It depends upon the nature of a business. And we can talk about it once if we look at the business. Now, another thing that, people have asked me, that is there a particular amount that is needed to qualify for an L1A? Amount की ऐसी कुछ requirement नहीं है, but I tell people you should be financially well off. You don't need $1 million in your bank, but you have around $300,000 or $400,000, you're good to go. So, don't be someone who doesn't have any money in the bank account. So bottom line is you should be financially well off. You should have a business plan. And you should just say that I'm done. I want to come to America. I want to start this business. I want to trade between both the countries. Yes. in every state in the US, the corporate laws are different. So, it's not like India, wherein you just get one corporation and, we can assist you with the right people if needed of where you want to, because we do a turnkey thing. Turnkey means end-to-end services are provided by us. Means it's known as hand-holding services, ताकि आप पूरी तरह से अमेरिका में अपने एल वीजा पर सेटल हो जाए और आगे जाए. A lot of our clients are Gujaratis, and a lot of our clients from South India went to the IT sector, and because they exactly know the business very well, and these are top business people who are very cool-headed, and they've been in business and they know what they're doing. And by the way, America is fantastic to start businesses, and it's good for people who've been to America before. And you just need the right people, because besides just doing immigration, we also, if you're in New York, we also help you to grow the business. We become kind of your general counsels. And if you need big lawyers and everything, we can also assist you with anything you need in America. Next. Yes, so the tax ID number and everything is handled by our law firm. We can help them with those issues that, that's forming the corporation, making sure that everything goes well between them. All those services are provided. So yes, that is very important, because you should never conduct business unless you have a tax ID number in the US. Because if you don't disclose revenues in the US, you're looking at a big problem here. Yes, so once if you are in the US, you have to comply with the Minimum Wage Act. So you have to make sure that you pay your people properly. And even the manager who comes in has to be given a salary. That is very important so he can survive. And you cannot basically, you have to, in some instances, if the person working under you is not a manager, then you have to pay him overtime. But if there's a manager, then you don't have to pay him overtime. That is exactly what the law is. And it's governed under the Fair Labor Standards Act, which is actually a federal law. And this is what we bring to the table. We know exactly, we can guide them with these things. That's not a problem. Compliance with immigration laws. If the Indian business plans to bring employees from India to work in, yes, that can be, once if you start a company, you can also get specialized employees on an L1B, or you can get other managers also on an L1A visa. So that's the beauty of this. And you can also sponsor people on an H1B visa. This opens a lot of doors. बहुत सारे दरवाजे खुल जाते हैं जब आप अपनी अमेरिकन कंपनी शुरू करते हो तो. And that is very important over here. And you need a good mid-size, अच्छी लॉ फर्म होती है तो आपको बराबर गाइडेंस मिलती है इसमें. और अगर जो आप छोटे लॉयर्स के पास जाते हैं जिनको पता नहीं होता है, तो आपके डिनाइल के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाते हैं इसमें, क्योंकि उनकी टीम नहीं होती है, उनको पता नहीं होता कि काम कैसे किया जाएगा, और उसमें आपको हिट और मिस की प्रॉब्लम बहुत ज्यादा आती है. And it doesn't matter even if you're starting an office in any other state, those things can be handled from New York. Yes, there are quite a few documents you have to file. Tax compliance has to be done. Besides that, corporate compliances have to be done. Immigration compliances have to be done. A lot of compliance. And if you're into, I would say, contracts have to be done. Appropriate contracts are necessary. So we make life easy. तो इतना डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. ये पूरी सर्विसेज हम प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं आपको, या हमारे साथ जो जिनसे हमारे अफिलिएशंस है उनसे आप बात करके अपना काम फिनिश करवा सकते हैं. ये बहुत जरूरी होता है. So Akika, I'll tell you, let's stop at this slide. What is missing in India? Do you know what is missing in India? I can tell you that. Let's see whether you can answer my question here. Like any other country, I'll tell you what is missing, right? People want to come to America, but they don't know how to do it. How can you climb Mount Everest without having a Sherpa? And you and I will have to act as Sherpas over here. But we want to screen the right companies. But we want to train them to climb the mountain properly, because half of them, they slip over here. They slip because they either rush it too much. बस मुझे जल्दी 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 करना है. ये काम जल्दी नहीं होते हैं. Keep around 8 to 12 months in your mind if you really want to do a good job. Earliest you can do it is 4 to 6 months. But if you're a very good brand and established, go for the 4 to 6 month period. But if you want to build your company slowly and steadily, there are ways for that too. Even if your company is not doing well right now, but if you think there is potential, a good manager plans his company for 5 years. तो आपके 5-year plan में लिख लें, बस मुझे अमेरिका मेरी मंजिल है, गाता रहे मेरा दिल तू ही मेरी मंजिल. तो अगर जो आपकी मंजिल अमेरिका है, तो पहले आप लक्ष्य मूवी देखें, अपना लक्ष्य बनाएं, और अपना लक्ष्य एक बार आप बना लेते हैं तो उसके मुताबिक आप काम करें. तो make sure that you have kind of basically this set in your 5-year plans. So I'm looking at the questions at the same time. I think we've had a very good informative session. And are there any other questions at this time? All right, so let's give a summation. And what we're going to do is that if you are interested in starting an office in America, doesn't matter which country you are from. We spoke about India here, but if you are watching from any country like Australia, England, or if you're in England watching this right now, if you are in Japan, or if you're in Thailand, or if you're in Bangladesh, or if you are in Nigeria, or if you're in Canada, wherever you are in the world, the procedure is the same. Only thing is that the name will change from the Indian company to the Canadian company, or to the Moroccan company from Morocco, or it can be from Spain, it can be from Italy. The procedure is the same. So folks, I hope you all enjoyed this wonderful session. And if you're in India watching this, of course, Akika Gogoi is the lawyer there. And Akika, what are the last words you'd like to say to people from India? And you're located in Bombay. Where are you? And can you talk about that?
So first of all, I would like to thank you for taking up all the questions and for discussing the topic thoroughly. And I would also like to thank all the audiences for sharing their questions and taking out time from their busy schedule. So it was very informative. So thank you so much for that.
And we need to thank the people behind us, and Priyanjali Goharoy, Sabrina, and who else worked with you at the back? Who else was at the back?
John.
Okay, so thank you, John. And thank you,
Abdul.
Doshu. And thank you to everyone at the back, Abdul, and everyone for making this happen. So what is the next date? And by the way, the good news is, please mark your calendars, everyone who's watching. We are going to have this every 2 weeks. And can you look up the calendar, Akika, for a quick minute? When should be our next session? और उम्मीद करते हैं कि आप सबको ये प्रोग्राम बहुत पसंद आया, खासतौर अमेरिकन इमिग्रेशन के बारे में. और याद रखें कि हर 2 हफ्ते में मुलाकात होगी नरेश गेही और अकीका के साथ इस प्रोग्राम पर, जिसे कहते हैं कि ग्रीन कार्ड विद गेही. और ये न्यूयॉर्क से पेश किया जा रहा है. और अगर आपने मिस किया या अगर आपके दोस्तों ने मिस किया है, तो डेफिनेटली आप उन्हें बताएं कि अगर जो उनको अमेरिकन इमिग्रेशन के क्वेश्चंस हैं, तो डेफिनेटली इस मीडियम पे हमसे बात कर सकते हैं. और पूरी कोशिश होगी कि आपके सवालों का जवाब दिया जाए. और अगर जो आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चंस है, तो आप खासतौर अगर जो न्यूयॉर्क में हैं, तो आकर आप हमसे मिल सकते हैं. और इंडिया के बारे में डेफिनेटली आप अकीका गोगोई से आप अपना राब्ता रख सकते हैं. तो नेक्स्ट 2 वीक्स के बाद आपको तारीख दी जा रही है. वी आर गोइंग टू गेट यू सम डेट्स एंड टाइम्स ऑफ अ रेगुलर प्रोग्राम. अकीका, व्हाट आर द टाइम्स एंड व्हाट आर द डेट्स?
24th May.
24 मई को हमारा अगला प्रोग्राम होगा on Green Card with Gehi. It's 24th of May. And
5 p.m. IST.
Can you repeat it again in Hindi and in English?
Yeah. All right, sir. I'll do so. Okay. So, जो next session है वो हमारा अभी 24th May को होगा 5 o'clock evening में.
तो फिर मिलेंगे, मुलाकात होगी आप सबके साथ अगले बुधवार नहीं, उसके बाद के बुधवार को, जो 24 तारीख होती है. 24 मई को 5 बजे शाम को फिर मिलेंगे। उसके बीच में हम सबको धन्यवाद कहना चाहते हैं, खासतौर उन लोगों को जिन्होंने हमसे ज्वाइन किया। And we'll be back again with our viewers 2 weeks from now, 24th of May, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Thank you for watching this and feel free to share the program. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone.